How is everybody doing? Welcome to Virtual Spiritual Saturday, and for my book club with the reading of The Promise. Actually, supposed to be reading, but I will read a little bit, but not so much. I hope everybody's having a good weekend, because we have good news yesterday, right? A Labor Day gift, someone said. So anyway, let me see where we were last week. I think we reached the point of Rinpoche promising to be a monk. I think I did a reading on that all the way there. Working 3 jobs. And if you have any questions, by the way, let me check who's on. Need to refresh the screen so I can see who is coming on. If you got anything to say, you want to wish, if you have any questions, you want to wish me good morning, please do so. Up to you. Hello, Zieng. Hello. Hi. Good morning. And nice. Let me get on. Oops. So we are waiting with, of course, Alice and 2 other people. I don't know who they are. I can't see the name. Sok Fun. And yeah, that's it. So good morning. While waiting for everybody, we do a little bit of a recap, which is what we covered the previous weeks. The promise. Of course, we've covered the beginning where we talk about Rinpoche's incarnation. We spoke about the various incarnations. I mean, I didn't go into every single one, but we just did a bit of a few that stood out for me. And also, I've asked you which incarnation stood out for you, which were your favorite, because every single incarnation of Rinpoche's was unique, had a huge impact in Tibet, in the spread and proliferation of Buddhism. And so they were significant lamas, okay, very, very significant. And also we went into Rinpoche's childhood, his birth, his unusual birth, because the mother had a lot of signs of Rinpoche's his incarnation, because when there's an attained being who has taken rebirth, usually there will be a lot of signs. The mother having dreams, a lot. So the dreams are quite significant into that tells you the attainment of this person who has taken rebirth. Okay, so we went into Rinpoche's beginnings in Taiwan, and then him being brought over to the United States, and then his early childhood and his adolescence in New Jersey, and then how he was with foster parents at the time, and then he was brought over to, he ran away from home, not brought over. He ran away from home and he hitchhiked from New Jersey, which is on the east coast of United States. Okay, this is United States, east. East is, of course, on the right. East, west. So New Jersey, New York is on the east. Okay, and then across United States to Los Angeles in California, which is on the west, which is quite incredible for anybody to undertake. And then his time in LA as a young man, struggling, and him struggling to survive, to make ends meet, and then him meeting his teachers in LA, in the middle of LA, Hollywood, and his decision, his major a turning point in his life, where he decides to be a monk. And he promised his teacher that he would be a monk. It was a choice. He took it onto himself as a young man, not as a child, not as you are recognized as incarnation. At that time, Rinpoche was not formally recognized as an incarnation yet. He was There were recognition. Oh, I did mention earlier in his childhood, I think I did not mention, that monks came to recognize him. No, I did mention, sorry. I did mention that he was an incarnation, but the mother wouldn't allow. And later on, even Song Rinpoche indicated, but because at that point in time, Rinpoche didn't speak Tibetan, so not much could be conveyed, but it was expressed. I remember Rinpoche said, but not formally recognized at that time. Okay, maybe we will talk about it today. Okay, let's see. Ooh, there's a lot of people. Shu Mei, ni hao. Wei Ting, Iman, Yen Ping, Irene. Good morning, everybody. So we'll be talking about Rinpoche's about that point in Rinpoche's life, right? So I will do a bit of reading because there is more to be gleaned than just from my memory, and we will talk about it. I like to talk about. I don't just like to read the story. I like to talk about the significance, and from my perspective, and from what I've learned through Rinpoche and also through my journey in Buddhism and understanding. Because Rinpoche's life is is incredible. It is something that you can make into a movie because it is something not an ordinary person would have undertook. As a person who had so much struggle, who had struggled in terms of culture, in terms of where he was from east to west, and in the west back to east, it's not a story that's typical of any Lama. Very seldom you hear. And even many of the Lamas, to be honest, many of the Lamas who have been recognized in the West did not go to the East to teach. They remained in the West. Many of them, in fact, a few that I can think of right now, which I will not mention names, the Western Tulkus, as they call them, Western Lamas, who have been recognized as incarnation of, great yogis or great Lamas of the past, and they are Caucasian and they are recognized in the West, and they decided to remain. And some of them they chose to pursue pursue being a lay teacher, so they are not monks. Rinpoche never, once he put on the robes, once he got ordained, he never looked back. All right? So anyway, everybody's just listening. How's breakfast? Maybe you're having your breakfast right now while listening to me. Very nice. I hope you have a good one. Okay, going east. Let me see. Rinpoche entering Ganden, right? Let me tell you about the significance of Rinpoche going to entering Ganden. Oh, you may think that Rinpoche he's a Lama. His previous life, opening the karma open, so he will automatically fit in. No, Rinpoche is basically a Westerner by that time. Okay, this was in 1987, right? When 1987, I don't know how old you are. Some of you probably in your young adulthood. For me, I was 7 years old, so it's different now. Okay, it's a different time period. And then for Rinpoche, he's a young man. Just think of it. He's a young man raised in America. By that time, much of his upbringing in Taiwan was forgotten already because, at 6, 7 years old, he was brought over to America, and then he grew up in America, totally used to English, totally used to a modern lifestyle, brought up with secular education, but of course he nurtured his own spirituality. It came from him. That is something you can say it's a tulku, a sign of a tulku, that nobody encouraged him. In fact, his parents, his peers, his friends, his society at that time were not for it. They didn't encourage, they didn't know he is a Lama. So they didn't encourage him, you have to study Buddhism. Nobody encouraged him. Nobody said he should. Nobody said, oh, this is interesting. Nobody, no Dharma person tell, oh, you should look at the Buddha statues, appreciate it. Nobody. It's all came from him. And, that's a sign of a Tulku, that the merits are ripening. The merits are surfacing. The seeds are imprints from previous lives. So what happened is, as a young man in LA, was no different. He was a young man. He had his friends, and interestingly, his friends are because it's LA. So he has all sorts of friends that took drugs, people from the street, prostitutes, but none of them influence him negatively. None of them pull him down. None of them influence him to do drugs, to do bad things. None of them. Instead, he influenced them. So that's interesting, okay? Because that's not a normal person would be able to do. Very few people will be able to withstand. Okay, the word is withstand, meaning withstand peer pressure. Peer pressure is your friends, influence from your friends, the influence from society, influence from where you are, where you live. So very few people can withstand that, and then in reverse, influence them positively. All right? So that's very interesting. But you see, he's used to modern convenience. In America, everything is clean, facilities are available, and food is clean, available, and I wouldn't say cheap, but it's modern, it's clean. So, and the language, everybody spoke English, and he was raised and he studied and he can converse. He's just American already. So it's no problem communication. But when he went to India, okay, in 1987, the young 22-year-old Rinpoche flew from Los Angeles to Delhi, India. Culture shock. When he got there, imagine. Rinpoche didn't exactly say much, but I heard a few accounts how Rinpoche felt when he went there. Food was firstly a huge problem because you're American, you eat basically, I don't know, burgers, salads and fries and all the fast food you can think is American food, right? Diners and all the food that there was in America, which is totally different when you go to India. It's all curry. It's all curry, dal, masala, and a lot of spice. Of course, there will be culture shock. A lot of us, Malaysians, when we go there to India, we also, although we are really used to curry, so we go there, we also still feel, oh, so tired of curry already, want to eat Malaysian food. Want to eat curry laksa, okay, curry. Maybe not curry laksa. The thing that we usually eat, So imagine that kind of how Rinpoche would have felt as a young man, and there's no turning back. His mother told him, I remember reading the last week, his mother told him, once you put on the robes, you're not family anymore. So there's no one. He's all alone. All of us, when we go enter the Dharma, we have some problems. Maybe we have family members who support us, family members who don't support us in the Dharma, and then we feel a little not happy. But imagine if you have no one to support, no one in the world. Yes, of course, he has his gurus and all, but it's different when you have, when it's family, friends, and they're so far away. All his family, all his friends are in America. It's not like today. You just pick up your phone. You go on Facebook, you chat with them, WhatsApp, you can video call. There's no such thing that time. You can call, but it's expensive. And Rinpoche had no money. He had no money. He's a young man. Imagine the struggle, the mental struggle. That's how you have to, when you go into that, you understand what Rinpoche is about, what a Tulku, a real Tulku, who would go through that sacrifice, because that is his path, his spiritual path. All in conversely for us, how it should inspire us is that when we go through our struggles, in our spiritual practice, if whatever it is our struggle is, it could be a mixture of spiritual and worldly. Whatever struggles we go through, we just sometimes we have to think what our teacher, what Rinpoche has gone through. If Rinpoche could go through that, so can we. So it should inspire us to overcome our what do you call it? Our struggles, our problems, our difficulties, our obstacles. And Rinpoche said in one of his teachings, I think, when we meet a wall, right? Don't focus on the wall. Focus on the space out beyond the wall. So what does that mean? You think you are there. You think, what is the purpose of you doing the thing that you do that brought you this struggle, this obstacle, and how to overcome it? Overcoming the obstacle, not focusing on the obstacle. So a lot of us, we tend to do that. When we meet a problem, we focus on the problem. Oh. So Rinpoche had a lot of difficulty in India, being in the food, the environment, the weather, the hygiene, the problems with culture, language. Rinpoche spoke English, and then when he entered the monastery, he was starting to learn Tibetan. And mind you, I've also learned a little teeny bit of Tibetan. I can read the alphabet lah, okay, the Tibetan letters, but that's it. I don't understand what I'm reading. So he learned Tibetan, and he's already quite old as in for someone who entered the monastery. So that's the struggle that Rinpoche went through. And he entered into the household of his teacher, Song Ladrang. Just in case you forgot last week, I think you remember Lai. You cannot remember. It cannot be you don't remember, right? Capture Song Rinpoche. So, Kop Wah Ying, hello. We can't wait for your next dish later. I'm sure a lot of people are excited. Phoebe Yong, hello. Good morning. And everybody is hearing me loud and clear, right? I hope. So good. So Rinpoche entered and he stayed, and he had a difficult time in the monastery because language, because life in the monastery is not easy. It's not meant for you, it's not a holiday. Most people think, oh, the monks they look so peaceful, they look so calm, they must have an easy life. No, they have to wake up very early to do puja and the pujas are hours and hours. You think our puja in Kechara is long. Wait till you enter the monastery and see how long their pujas are. Okay, they have to go for pujas, they have to go for classes, they have to study, they have to memorize, they have to debate. If you're young and you're the debate, the intellectual type, they will put you in education, in the curriculum, and then you have to study. It's just like a regular university. It's like a regular college. And then you have teachers, and then you have to debate, and then you have to sit for examination, and this goes on for years and years and years. And then you get your degree, and then, and so on. And those who are not intellectual, then what they do is they serve the monastery, which is wonderful. They do secretary work, they manage the kitchen, some of them who can cook, they do the cleaning, the offerings, the pujas, and so forth. Many. So Rinpoche at that time was not recognized, so he was placed in a small little shed in Song Ladrang. And there's a lot of story behind that, but I won't go into it today. And there's a section here called Tough Times. Tough times in Ganden. So Rinpoche spoke about it. Part of what I said is mentioned here. But throughout the whole struggle, Rinpoche is interesting. He did not focus on the struggle. He focused on his teacher, Song Rinpoche. Mind you, Song Rinpoche only stayed in America, in LA, in Thupten Darjeeling, in the center that Rinpoche was, for only 6 months. 6 months. And during that time, Song Rinpoche was giving teachings almost every day, I heard. Every day, and then sometimes they have classes, initiation, sometimes they have pujas, and then Rinpoche was just assisting, and he sat through everything, and he received all the lineages. and all the practices. And during that time, he connected with Song Rinpoche, and he made the promise to be a monk. And all that thing happened within 6 months. And that influenced the rest of Rinpoche's life. The direction that he would go through to be a monk, his protector, Dorje Shugden, the practices that he did, and the way how Kechara was formed was based on the teachings and lineages that was passed down from Song Rinpoche. To Rinpoche. Within the 6 months, that short of a time can influence him. For us, maybe we've been with Rinpoche in Kechara. You don't have to be with Rinpoche per se, as in every day serving Rinpoche. For how long? A couple years, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? For me, it was about 17, 18 years. 17 years, because it was last year Rinpoche left. Yeah, so 17 years. And how much has it impacted you in your life? So for Rinpoche, it changed the course of his life. He became a monk. He took on Dorje Shugden as his protector. He received all his lineages, and many of the sadhanas that he does is because of Song Rinpoche. And and he entered Ganden Monastery. Ganden is Rinpoche's monastery, and Shatse, Ganden. Okay, let me tell you the structure of the monastery. Yeah, Tibetan monasteries are huge. They are little towns. Okay, because it's so big, they cannot manage it in one group, in one single administration. So they split it. So the monastery is split. First, the major split is colleges. They call it they translate into English as college lah. There's Shatse for Ganden. Okay, Ganden Monastery is split into two: Shatse administration and Jangse. Shatse is literally east. Jangse is north probably because of in Tibet, Ganden was built on a mountain side, right? So there's a north point and an east point. So the monastery was separated that way. So there's a Shatse administration, there's a Jangse, and each of them have their own prayer hall. There's a major prayer hall for the whole monastery, and then there's a smaller prayer hall for each side. So Rinpoche entered into Shatse, and within Shatse, they are divided into smaller houses. So the house that Rinpoche comes from is Pukam Kamzen. Kamzen is like a house a house. Sorority house, last time I remember Rinpoche, but I don't think there's a good translation. But Kamzen means the house. Usually in Tibet, these houses in the monastery is where monks from a particular region of Tibet, like different province of Tibet because Tibet is also like China, where they have their own dialect one. So their dialect is very strong, the dialect. So some places, when they mix together, they don't understand each other. So what happened is, for administration-wise, when they put together, it's easier to manage. Monks that spoke to each other, they can converse each other in their own dialect, so they put them together. So that's how the houses in the monastery arose. It started like that. Okay? So everybody clear? So there is Kamzen, there is colleges or Dratsang, it's just how the monastery is formed. Okay, the administration of the monastery. So when you understand that, then you understand why, a lot of High Lamas, what they do is when they give their names officially, they also name themselves. For example, Rinpoche's teacher, Sarame Kenso Losang Tachin. Sarame is not his name. Sarame is his monastery. Sara is the monastery. May is the college lah. So it's Sarame Kenso. Kenso means ex-abbot. Losang Tachin. So that's Rinpoche's teacher's name. Official lah. So let me think. If Rinpoche will be Gasha Tsem Tulku Rinpoche. Ga is in Ganden, Sha is in Shatse. All right, so in the same way lah. Just telling you this Tibetan etiquette. All right. Where should we begin? Tough times in Ganden. Meeting Song Rinpoche again. So Song Rinpoche passed away, entered clear light, and I read that, and how Rinpoche took the news was difficult. Was very difficult because Rinpoche met him very briefly for 6 months, and he was heartbroken because he never saw his teacher again. At that time, that was even before he became a monk. So it made an impact in him, and he was actually wondering that time. Like most of us, like many of us, when Rinpoche has left, we wonder what's going to happen. We wonder whether we should continue, our practice, coming to Kechara, what will happen to Kechara. So we are going through similar times as what Rinpoche did at that time. So my point in telling you that and pointing that out is because that time, last week I was saying, is how Rinpoche continued and decided to become a monk anyway, although his Song Rinpoche was no longer there in the monastery, because he felt that he made the promise not to a human guru. He felt that he made the promise to Song Rinpoche, who is one with Heruka. So that it means it's a promise that cannot be broken. It's a promise that he should fulfill. And likewise, in our practice, whatever practices we are doing, we should not abandon. Especially our practice, what we do, what we pray, our sadhanas, our practices, Dorje Shukden, Guru Yoga that we do. We may not have high tantric initiation, Vajragini and all that, but whatever practice that we do, that we promise to do, that Rinpoche had told us to do, that Rinpoche recommended us to do, may not be Dorje Shukden, like some of us maybe have other deities, Buddha deities that you are doing. And the same thing applies, of course. We should continue and we should keep it for life. And then and I also spoke that, last time that we shouldn't, go for different practices and initiations and all that, because we don't want to get confused. All right? And let's meeting Song Rinpoche again. I think this is going to be touching. Is it long? No, it's not very long. Oh, his contact with his birth parents. Okay, today I will cover this section, meeting Song Rinpoche. I will do some reading today, okay? Then we will talk in between. If you have any questions or anything, some of you senior people, I see some senior people like Su Ming, hello. Jacinta, you're also senior already, okay? You also, and then Pastor Antoinette, very quiet in the background watching me. Doreen, I can see all of you. If you've got anything to add, or to remind me or to say, let me know. Just type in, no problem. I'll read it out, and so everybody can learn and share together. This is how we keep Rinpoche's memory alive. It's important to keep Rinpoche's memory. If you feel some sadness, if you feel some nostalgia, it's a good thing, because this is your teacher, and important. It's good that you feel sadness, but it's important to translate that sadness to other things. But in order to translate to other things, you have to feel it first. So I think that when we feel sad, it's not a bad thing. And we feel sad, we shouldn't just stay sad. We should do something about it. And that's why when we read the Rinpoche story, we feel that, that's how we keep Rinpoche's memories alive. And it's important to keep Rinpoche's memory alive because it is symbolic of our spiritual practice. It's not symbolic, it is our spiritual practice. It is our spiritual practice, and that's why we have to keep it alive. And so whatever practices we do, we keep it alive with the memory of Rinpoche, of who he is. And in order to keep it alive, to keep it going, we should remember his life and how it translates, how it inspires us. Okay, that's important. And we should share. I mean, I'm just one person who can share with you guys, with you few, at least, how many of you? 10 people, 20, 14 people online watching me. And then share with other people, other younger people, under junior, new people in Kechara. And that's how even when Rinpoche is not alive, we can keep Rinpoche alive. It is as if Rinpoche is here. When we talk about Rinpoche, when we share what Rinpoche teach, when we share, because we may not be a intellectual pastor, telling about Dharma, Lamrim, and Lojo, mind training, all that. We can teach Rinpoche from your own experience, your own memories, what touched you about Rinpoche and how it inspires you to people, right? Okay, meeting Song Rinpoche again. After all the difficulties and loneliness experienced in the first few years, a light emerged, bringing to life the reason why Rinpoche had come to Ganden in the first place. His Holiness Kechara Song Rinpoche's incarnation was soon discovered and invited back to Song Ladrang at Ganden, where he would begin his monastic training. His guru was back. Just like that, we will be working towards bringing Tsem Rinpoche, his incarnation, back. Every day, the 3-year-old Song Rinpoche would come out of Song Ladrang, look towards the cowshed and say, "Hey, you, come here. Who are you? What's your name?" Song Rinpoche say, the young Song Rinpoche. The little Song Rinpoche's tone and the manner in which he addressed Rinpoche indicated that he was above Rinpoche in rank. That was not meant to be derogatory, but was normal protocol in a monastery and acknowledged as part of the special relationship between high lamas and their students. If he had addressed Rinpoche as an equal, it would have been considered condescending. Rinpoche answered humbly, "Tenzin Zopa." "Oh, Zopa Rinpoche." Song Rinpoche would take to calling Zopa Rinpoche henceforth, even though Tsem Rinpoche had not even been officially recognized as a Rinpoche or reincarnated Lama yet. He was still known simply by his ordination name, Tenzin Zopa. Rinpoche would ask this young Song Rinpoche, "Can I pick you up and bring you for a walk?" "Sure." Rinpoche would carry him and walk around the gardens surrounding the Ladrang. The little boy would talk, ask questions, and often come to Rinpoche's room unannounced. For many months, Song Rinpoche would always ask, "Who are you?" Rinpoche would then reply, "I told you yesterday." "But who are you? What's your name?" "You are Zopa Rinpoche." Again, as in Song Rinpoche's previous life, they had an unusually special relationship and a closeness that seemed to like it could have only come from a previous time. Despite their age difference and the difference in their ranks, their relationship was always like that of two very special old friends being reunited. Oh, that's it. That was really short. And then in the picture here, it's a very nice picture, if you can see. It's of Song Rinpoche and Tsem Rinpoche. Tsem Rinpoche offering a Manjushri statue to Song Rinpoche. And this is the caption now. Rinpoche made extensive preparations for many months leading up to when Song Rinpoche's incarnation returned to the monastery. He saved his meager funds to purchase a Manjushri statue so that he could offer it to the new incarnation of his most precious root guru. It will be his first offering to Song Rinpoche in this current incarnation. So, likewise, we are preparing for that time when I'm sure all of you will want to come and, "Oh, so cute, Tsem Rinpoche, little Tsem Rinpoche," and then make offerings to Tsem Rinpoche, toys, his first Manjushri statue, We should keep that in mind. Don't forget that. This photo of Rinpoche and the current incarnation of Song Rinpoche was taken of Ganden Monastery in 1990 when Tsem Rinpoche was 25 years old. Tsem Rinpoche and Song Rinpoche, so cute. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking when they look at, little Rinpoches, always, "Oh, so cute." Yeah, so cute. the little Rinpoche is like, oh, especially if you're naughty, they will be like, "Wow." All right, so that section that's it. But interestingly, even as a young little boy, he already made an unofficial recognition of Tsem Rinpoche. The time Rinpoche was not recognized. Nobody knew Tsem Rinpoche was Rinpoche. But I heard also Rinpoche did say that in Tibetan society, especially in the monastery, especially in the older monks, they I guess they are from years of meditation, pujas, sadhanas, so they're kind of sensitive, and they can tell if it's a Rinpoche. They just know. They say there's a look, and what's the look? Rinpoche has never been able to describe, but there's apparently a look of when someone who is a lama from a previous life, there is some sort of charisma, and appearance and draw of so obviously Tsem Rinpoche had that, because a number of people had said that he has a look of a Rinpoche. Anyway, let's carry on. Contact with his birth parents. This is going to be touching. When I first heard this story, I was very wow, It's very touching. Okay, let's do some reading. Anything? No comments, nothing. People probably having their breakfast, watching me and watching the breakfast. During Rinpoche's first few years at Ganden, his birth mother, Dewa Nimbo, that's his mother's name, would write to him often. They maintained regular correspondence and exchanged many letters over the years. However, in all her writings, she alluded to herself only as an aunt. She referred to her as only an aunt, never revealing or suggesting in any way she was his birth mother. So Rinpoche had always had, in the beginning, in the earlier years, always had contact with his real mother. Okay? One day she wrote to him that she had separated from her husband and was now living with her 2 sons. She had received her PhD in Asian Studies and was teaching in Indianapolis in America. In a letter, she also said, "I'm struggling to take care of my kids. I'm sure you're struggling in Ganden. If you have trouble, look for my guru, Sokpo Rinpoche, Guru Deva Rinpoche, in Nepal. When I finish with school, I will send some money." On 1st January 1990, Sokpo Rinpoche, 1990, wow, that's like 30 years ago. Sokpo Rinpoche Guru Deva invited Rinpoche to him at his ladrang in Nepal. Let me see if I have a picture of Sokpo Rinpoche. I do, but it's very small, so no point I show you. You won't be able to see it. Never mind. Sokpo Guru Deva Rinpoche invited Rinpoche to visit him at his ladrang in Nepal. The invitation came out of the blue via a telegram, which read, "Come to Nepal as soon as possible. Immediately. Come now." As Tsem Rinpoche did not have enough funds to travel, he sought the advice of his guru, His Eminence Lati Rinpoche, who advised that it would be very good for him to go and not to let any obstacles deter him from making the journey. Khenso Jampa Yeshe Rinpoche even lent him the expenses needed for the trip. The Mongolian Lama Sokpo Rinpoche, also known to be an emanation Doji Shukden Genze, knew Rinpoche's birth parents and Rinpoche's family's background very well. It was Sokpo Rinpoche who gently explained Rinpoche's family background to him in his ladrang in Nepal during the Losar Tibetan New Year celebrations in 1990, while Rinpoche sat on the floor in front of him, dumbstruck. After he told Rinpoche the story, he said, "Aren't you going to turn around and greet your father?" Yes. Rinpoche turned around and in astonishment and looked at an old Tibetan man seated behind him, his face full of both pride and emotion. I remember this when Rinpoche told the story. He was holding a cigarette apparently, and he was shaking because he was very emotional, but he kept it. And like very Tibetan man lah, very, very stoic. And but he was, he's looking at his son he had not seen for many, many years. All right. The old Tibetan was sitting very still, hands shaking as he held onto onto an unlit cigarette that he puffed on hurriedly and nervously. Tears were running down his face. There was nowhere to hide but behind his cigarette. Rinpoche got up to give him a hug, though his father remained seated, still shaking, and in that moment, Rinpoche knew that it was real. When Rinpoche met his father's sons, father's sons, that means his other, the other children, his half-brothers. Why half? Same father, different mother. A few years later, every last doubt was removed. Rinpoche had not expected the similarity between them to be so strong. Looking at one of them, he felt like he was looking at himself. All his father had said very simply and quietly in that first encounter was, "Please forgive me, I'm sorry." These were the first words Rinpoche heard from his biological father that Losang morning. Losang is Tibetan New Year. Sopo Rinpoche asked Tsem Rinpoche to forgive his father, and with an open heart, Rinpoche did. His father gave him a pouch with 5,000 Indian rupees, which was a huge amount of money for the young monk. Rinpoche was relieved that he could now return the funds that Khenso Jampa Yeshe Rinpoche had lent him for the journey. Rinpoche had never ever had that much money in India. Suddenly, overnight, he had a father and a sponsor. Excited, Rinpoche wrote to update Dewa about what had transpired and related this exciting, life-changing encounter. To his chagrin, she wrote one last letter to him that said curtly, "That old man in Taiwan, I don't know who he is and I have no relations with him. If he is your father, that's fine, but I don't know him. Never ever contact me again. If you want to have a relationship with him, you do not need to have a relationship with me." Nothing seemed to make sense to the young Rinpoche, who was only finally beginning to put the pieces of his family and identity together. And yet it was Dewa's very denial that confirmed everything he needed to know of his origins. In spite of the pain he experienced in relation to his family, Rinpoche had never wished them anything but goodness and happiness. Sometimes he still shares that the only thing he would like is to be able to meet his birth mother, bring her on a pilgrimage to holy sites, and introduce sacred practices to her for her long life, happiness, and well-being. In response to the pain he has encountered and the loneliness of not having had real family for most of his life, Rinpoche turned the experience around to one of great healing and compassion. Now he strives continuously to help his students improve their own relationships with their parents, create greater harmony within their families, and bring people closer together. So that was quite touching because it's quite sad lah. As far as I've known Rinpoche, right, Rinpoche has always been longing for a mother to get in contact with his real mother, and also I think his foster mother, the one in America, but she had passed away. The foster mother passed away many years ago. The real mother, this Dewa Ningbo, is still alive until today, as far as I know lah. Okay, and unfortunately, because why she reacted so strongly is because she is a princess. Okay, she's a Mongolian princess of royal blood from Xinjiang, and she had an affair with this man, and she realized it too late, so she was very deeply embarrassed about it. So she comes from a different generation, in a sense that her thinking is a different generation, where the relationship didn't work out, and it didn't end up in a marriage, and someone got a child. So she was very embarrassed. And I think she does love Rinpoche. That's why she kept in contact with him and pretended to be the aunt. But she couldn't bring herself to accept this relationship. So anything that reminded her of relationship caused her to have a negative, huge reaction from her. Huge. And that's why when Rinpoche contacted his father, when he came to know his father, right, she pulled away. So that kind of hurt Rinpoche very badly for many, many years. And Rinpoche tried many, many times. As far as I know Rinpoche, right, Rinpoche has talked about it over and over and over again. And I don't fully understand that because I have a mother who I have a contact with until her passing. And but in hindsight, when I think about it, I kind of feel, because Rinpoche expresses so much, I understand what he's feeling. I intellectually understand, in a sense that when you don't have a mother, you wish to contact her, you wish to know her, And someone, she's alive, she's alive and she speaks the language, and there's no problem, except that she couldn't come to terms with the fact that, that of her relationship, of a failed relationship with this man. So it was really sad. And I got some comments here. Let me read it out. Sharon says, Guru Deva Rinpoche is the emanation of Genze, right? Imagine meeting Guru Deva Rinpoche. Oh yes, Guru Deva Rinpoche is an emanation of Genze. And he's extremely wealthy. But one thing about this Lama is incredible, because not enough is said about him, because actually he did a lot to sponsor. He's Mongolian, he's not Tibetan. He sponsored the Dalai Lama. He sponsored Trijang Rinpoche, Ling Rinpoche, which is the two tutors of the Dalai Lama. He sponsored all three monasteries, Ganden, Sera, and Drepung, the ones in India. And he sponsored a lot of books. He sponsored a lot. His wealth is not he built a ladra, he built a temple, he built a monastery, and all. No, he sponsored a lot, and he had a lot. And then what happened was, because of the Dorje Shugden controversy, so he had a lot of backlash, because he's an open DS Dorje Shugden practitioner, open, and so there are some issues, and then they stoned his ladrang. What happened was, towards the end of his life, he had to run away. He had to escape India, because the violence was getting too much, and his life was in danger. So what happened was, he returned to Mongolia. So when he returned to Mongolia, he didn't stay to himself or build his monastery. What he did was, he revitalized. He rebuilt some of the traditional monasteries in Mongolia, because after the war, Mongolia was war-torn, and a lot of the monasteries was destroyed. And I think they went through a period of communism, and things changed over time. So during the time when he returned, I'm not sure when was this, probably in the late 80s, 90s maybe. 90s probably. The band came around the 90s, sorry. Should be in the 90s. So when he returned, he rebuilt the monasteries, and he did a lot of work until he has passed away. And he passed away, and miraculously what happened was, at a very, very, very old age, Guru Deva Rinpoche, he decided to return his vows. There's a way of returning your vows. Okay, so you're not breaking your vows, you return the vows. And he decided to have a consort. And he had a wife, and then he had a son. At, I think, I cannot remember the age right now, but probably around somewhere in 90, some 90 old. Can you imagine a 90-year-old, you want to have a child? So obviously it was not a normal child. The child today is a teenager. I think he's a young adult. He should be around his late teens or early 20s. Okay, and I heard he's training to be an oracle of Dorje Shugden. And I remember when the current Trijang Rinpoche visited Mongolia, give teachings, right? And he came to his part of Mongolia, and he held on to the young boy's hand. There was a young boy, and the young boy, when you look at him, he looks really good. I mean, I'm not talking about handsome. He looks like a lama. I don't know how to say it. He just looks good lah. So he's special. All right. So some people say, there is rumors say that he had taken incarnation as his son. So that's not officially recognized, so I don't know whether it's true. And it is possible to do that, meaning before the Lama, an attained Lama, before they pass away, they're able to take rebirth. Imagine that. So that was quite incredible. So Guru Deva Rinpoche is an exceptional Lama. Yes, he's Genze, emanation Genze. The whole point is that, yes, it's Genze. So Irene says, Dewa Ningbo is presently in Philadelphia, US. She refused to have any relationship with Rinpoche. She threatened to commit suicide if Rinpoche ever contact. Yes, Irene, yes. So I think it's kind of sad, but it's not necessary to tell the details, okay? Jacinta says, the mother is still alive. I wonder if both Rinpoche's parents are aware of Rinpoche's entering parinirvana. Yeah, I wonder. The father had passed away though. The Losang Gyatso, the father had passed away many years. Unfortunately, Rinpoche was very sad. When Rinpoche heard the news that his father passed away, I think about a year later only, not when he passed away, a year later, after the father passed away, Rinpoche only got the news because Rinpoche felt it was because of the ban, because Rinpoche is a Dorje Shugden practitioner, and so they did not want to tell Rinpoche. So Rinpoche was very, very sad about that. Rinpoche felt that he could have made offerings at that time, which was crucial. You know, the 49 days when a person passed away is crucial time when for the children, for the family members to do pujas, to make offerings, you know, so to collect the merit that's needed for the person to take good rebirth. So Rinpoche felt he felt very, very sad. Yeah, Jacinta, Rinpoche must have been so sad. For many years, Jacinta, just to let you know, for many years, Rinpoche had been consulting Dorje Shugden. Yeah, consulting Dorje Shugden. Every time they ask questions, right, one of the questions Rinpoche would ask, because Rinpoche, by the way, Rinpoche consults Dorje Shugden on many major issues, major decisions, major direction of Kechara and of his Dharma work. Okay, so one of the questions Rinpoche would ask, among many, he had a lot of personal questions, and it was always about his students. And one of the questions was whether he should contact his mother. And Dorje Shugden for many years told Rinpoche, wait 10 years. Wait a few years. Then eventually 10 years. Then eventually Rinpoche stopped asking because Rinpoche realized what Dorje Shugden actually meant. Dorje Shugden didn't want to hurt Rinpoche's feelings by saying, don't bother. So Dorje Shugden so skillfully just said, oh, wait 10 years. Wait 10 years. So eventually Rinpoche understood what Dorje Shugden was trying to say. It will not be possible in this life. I think about 5 years ago, Rinpoche told me, I heard Rinpoche say that. He realized what Dorje Shugden was telling him. So he stopped asking. In the last few times when Rinpoche consulted Dorje Shugden, he stopped asking because he realized. And Rinpoche never stopped talking about it. Rinpoche, it affected Rinpoche very much. I guess in a way, it helped Rinpoche cope with the pain of the mother not wanting to have contact with him. So that's why sometimes he would talk about it, and as usual with his students, Rinpoche, as he said in the text in his biography, Rinpoche. One way of Rinpoche coping is he talk about it to us closest students, and another way is he always try to make sure. He always talked to children in the organization, make sure they respect the parents, treat the parents well, and make sure the parents would take care of the children well. He does his best, and he will give gifts. Many times he would take the children out and to go out, play, and then in between he would give good advice. So that is one way Rinpoche helped cope the pain of the loss that he feels that. When you feel you don't have a parent, that the loss, that vacuum, that's how Rinpoche cope with the pain. So, that was emotional, isn't it? So, a long line of incarnations. I think this comes to a section of Rinpoche's incarnation. Oh, this is very interesting. This is about Rinpoche's incarnation. Okay, it's a bit long. Let me see how much time I have. Okay, I'll read 3 pages of it. Okay, then the following week we'll probably go into the next few, because it has a lot of sections that are very interesting about how Rinpoche was recognized, who recognized him, in the manner in which Rinpoche was recognized. It's very interesting, and it's very crucial understanding who Rinpoche is. And it gives us a little clue of how Rinpoche's previous incarnation was like. You understand when we go into it. Okay, let's start. A Buddha formally returned among us in 1990, when Rinpoche received official recognition and enthronement as a reincarnation of Ganden Shatse, 72nd Abbot Gendun Nintra, by way of His Eminence Khenso Jampa Yeshe Rinpoche, and the oracular pronouncement of Ganden Shatse's Dharma protectors Serchap Chen and Dorje Shugden. Sometime before this special announcement, Khenso Rinpoche called Rinpoche to his room and showed him a photo of an old monk. He asked, "Do you know who this is?" Rinpoche replied that he did not. It's a black and white picture, okay? Khenso Rinpoche asked again, "Are you sure?" He then told Rinpoche that the picture was of his previous life, Khentrul Tupten Lamsang Rinpoche. He was the reincarnation of Gendo Nentrak, the abbot of Ganden Shatse, when Khenso Rinpoche joined the monastery as a young boy. Given that Khenso Rinpoche was the abbot of Ganden Shatse when Tsem Rinpoche joined the monastery in his 20s, and that Gendo Nentrak and Khenso Jampa Yeshe Rinpoche both originated from Tsem Rinpoche in Yara. Come, the previous life connection between Tsem Rinpoche and Khenso Rinpoche was undeniably strong. At Rinpoche's enthronement ceremony on 31st May 1990, as had been the case throughout his life, there was no one to attend and rejoice in this most auspicious moment with him. He was alone, as always. Nervous and unaccustomed to the procedures, Rinpoche tripped over his robes and took off his hat at the wrong time. Nonetheless, the enthronement ceremony changed his status at the monastery forever. It marked a new and happier beginning for the newly recognized Rinpoche. And this is what Rinpoche, this is a quote from Rinpoche, I think I should read out to you guys. A part of me thought, no one ever comes to celebrate my accomplishments with me. Then at the other part of me thought, I'm going to sit on this throne with the motivation that I will benefit others, and I focused on why I was becoming a Rinpoche. As the process of confirming a Lama's incarnation status is of great importance, it is common that several recognitions are sought from various high Lamas through divinations or consultation with a Dharma protector via an oracle before being officially recognized and enthroned. Tsem Rinpoche received numerous confirmations of his incarnation status from various high Lamas and highly esteemed sources. Okay, listen now. This is very interesting. This is the order in which Rinpoche was recognized. Okay, by who? And basically, the order is by timeline, the earliest to the latest, and then also by who recognized. Okay, it says here the first one to recognize was when he was 7 months old, a baby. Monks came to Rinpoche's birth mother's home and recognized him as a reincarnated Lama. But the mother asked them to leave, and because the monks basically want to recognize the baby and take him away to the monastery, so the mother didn't allow. So we have no idea who the monks were, what monastery they came from, what tradition they came from, and who they were recognizing Rinpoche as. Because I also wondered, and Rinpoche doesn't know because it was all by the mother, and what the mother told him at that time when they still had contact was just monks. The second sign was upon sight. A very young Lama Usel Rinpoche placed his forehead to Rinpoche's forehead. In Tibetan tradition, this signifies one is equal rank in terms of attainments and realizations. Who is Lama Usel Rinpoche? Everybody, you guys know Lama Yeshe, right? FPMT, Foundation of the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition. Okay, this organization, FPMT, is huge, many centers around the world. All right, and the Lama who founded it was Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa, right? Lama Yeshe had passed away, and then his incarnation is a young boy, but his name is called Lama Usel, and he has since disrobed, and he's a lay Lama now. I think he's teaching still. I think his ethnicity is Spain, right? And from a very young age, when he was young, he was exceptional, this boy. When he was young, he showed many signs to his students. And some of his students, and these are not Tibetan students, majority of his students are Westerners. Okay, he showed many signs of remembering his previous life, or what he did with his students. And as a young boy, he would show signs. I remember one of the things that one of the students said that when the Lama Yeshe used to play with students and used to dance and do all funny things, right? So when the young boy came and meet with one of the students, right, he did this. Immediately the student knew what it was about, because the Lama used to play with the student before in the previous life. So when the boy met the student, it would show a sign. He will show a sign to the student, remember who was I. I remember who you are, and I'm showing you. Because sometimes the baby cannot speak, but he can. So he will show signs that he remembers the student. Incredible. So, and usually the boy, young incarnation, this boy is also like a young incarnation where he would be like an adult. He would bless people. Usually they were blessed by what we call a chat wang. Chat wang in Tibetan means hand blessing. Chat is hand. Wang is a blessing, wang empowerment, a blessing is a blessing. So it's blessing on the head usually. So because you are the Lama, right? The boy is a Lama and the people who come up is a student, so you bless. For some people, like Rinpoche, he will grab Rinpoche and put the head, forehead to forehead. That is a Tibetan tradition. It's a equal rank. Okay, so that is an unofficial recognition. That means this boy recognized him as a Rinpoche. They're equal. Okay? Third, capture Song Rinpoche. Rinpoche's root guru gave verbal recognition that he was a Rinpoche. So that time, Song Rinpoche, that time it was the Rinpoche, Tsem Rinpoche spent with Song Rinpoche in LA, in Thupten Darjeeling, in the center, was for 6 months. Okay, so during that period, Rinpoche, there was a exchange. Unfortunately, it was without an interpreter. And so what happens? Song Rinpoche told Tsem Rinpoche, you are a Rinpoche. But because of the communication, it was not more than that. So this is from Rinpoche's own recognition. Fourth recognition, His Eminence Ayang Drupchen Rinpoche also gave verbal recognition. This is Drikung Rinpoche, one of Rinpoche's teachers, his son. And he's a young Lama at that time, this young Lama, but unfortunately he had passed away. He passed away quite young. So during that time he told Rinpoche, you are a Lama from Dripung. Interesting, he said Dripung, not Ganden, Dripung. And yeah, it was just a verbal recognition. And then the Mahasiddha, His Eminence Gangchen Rinpoche, who gave verbal recognition when Rinpoche first met him in Nepal. In 2015, Gangchen Rinpoche also recognized Rinpoche's reincarnation status in writing. So Gangchen Rinpoche, unfortunately for all of us, has entered clear light during this period, not long ago. I think it was a week or two ago. And Gangchen Rinpoche's story is incredible, okay? It's really incredible. Upon sight, when they first met, Rinpoche already knew and already told Rinpoche, you are who you are. And then I remember that the way Rinpoche told it, upon meeting, Rinpoche immediately asked for his own picture, Gangchen Rinpoche that is, and then he signed it. And he didn't sign his name, Gangchen Rinpoche didn't write his own signature on his picture. He wrote the name of Rinpoche's incarnation, his previous life, one of his illustrious previous life, on it. And he gave it to Rinpoche. And he said, you are this Lama. And he asked Rinpoche, come sit, tell us your life story. And it was Gangchen Rinpoche advice to Rinpoche to have his story told. And Rinpoche at that time, he was a young monk, and he was very reluctant. He was like, there's nothing special about my life, but there's many things that are special. So the reason for this, the promise, is born out of Gangchen Rinpoche's instruction. Otherwise, Rinpoche tells the story based on, Gangchen. They had so many exchange together. It's just incredible. There's so many stories, actually. Okay, anyway, that is outside of the context of where we are right now. Next recognition, Dorje Yudroma. The Dharma Protector of Gyuto Tantric College recognized Rinpoche as an incarnation via an oracle. Yudroma. Oh, okay. It's Dorje Yudroma is a Dharma protector, and she is a female protector. It's just peaceful, white face, riding on a, if I'm not mistaken, deer. And don't quote me on this. Not and she's quite cute apparently, because Rinpoche let us hear a recording of her speaking through the oracle, and she's a very melodious voice, and she would her voice is sing-song one lah, and then she would, I remember, I will never forget that she would always say, you drama, and then it goes, and then she would give her pronouncement, and then she would apparently, when this recognition happened, when Rinpoche entered the room, she stood up and she referred to Rinpoche as Rinpoche. That time nobody knew. Everybody was like, who's that? Okay, next recognition. Drikung Kyabgon Rinpoche Jetsun Losang Chosin, one of Rinpoche's gurus, recognized his incarnation status upon sight and officiated this recognition with his own personal stationery and seal. He also recognized Rinpoche as a Mahasattva, which indicates that his line of incarnation goes back further than Khenso Gyendun Nintra. Okay, Drikung Rinpoche has a lot of stories. Who is Drikung Rinpoche? Drikung Rinpoche is actually a Lama, an incarnate Lama, not from our tradition. It's a Kagyu Lama. But he's very close to us because of our tradition, because he is a student of Tsong Rinpoche, and they have a very close relationship with Tsong Rinpoche as well. And why Rinpoche got connected to him is because Rinpoche was, that time, before his recognition came, Rinpoche was training to be an oracle. Yeah, Rinpoche felt in the monastery that time, he was thinking, this is Rinpoche's, I'm paraphrasing Rinpoche, this is how Rinpoche was thinking, okay? He felt that he was not much use in the monastery because Tibetan was a struggle in, what's funny? He said he used to swear. He used to swear in the sense that he found it so difficult to study the philosophy and the meaning he can get it, but to go through the language, it was difficult for Rinpoche. So the language was difficult, and he was an adult already. He was a young adult studying that in the monastery. So he had a lot of struggles with that. So what he felt was, he was thinking maybe he should be an oracle. His life is always, he was always thinking to benefit. So in that, he felt the best way, and he had always a fascination. Rinpoche had a fascination with oracles for a long, long time, So he felt there was a wonderful way to serve others. So he was undergoing training. He decided, and then he went for training under Drikung Rinpoche. He went through the retreats, but he never finished his training. And that's why what happened was he never became an oracle. And anyway, his recognition came, and his teachers told him, you are officially recognized as a Rinpoche now, you cannot be an oracle. And Rinpoche's like, why? Rinpoche himself said, why? I want to be an oracle, What a wonderful way to benefit others, and you just, take trance and then that's it. And you benefit so many people. People come up and you can save lives, you can heal people, you can chase away spirits, you can give, people with life-threatening decisions, help them through it. He felt it was such a wonderful way. But his Khenso Rinpoche said, no, a Rinpoche's role is much higher, teaching the Dharma, benefiting others as a Rinpoche, as a Lama, is much higher than an oracle. So you will be an oracle, you will be a Rinpoche, you will be a Lama. So that's why his views, that's how he got connected to Drikung Rinpoche. All right? And then the next recognition was Khenso Jampa Yeshe Rinpoche, Rinpoche's guru and abbot of Ganden Shatse Monastery at that time, recognized Rinpoche as an incarnation and submitted a request for official recognition to the Dharma protector of Ganden Shatse. Okay, I've got a question here. Let me see. There's a lot of things that were said after that. Khenso Rinpoche's house in Tibet was 1 mountain away from Tsem Monastery in Yara Kam. I think you meant Kam, not Khan, right? Lama Yeshe's new reincarnation is Lama User, yes. Yes, Lama User, born in Spain, he has this robe. And then Jacinta asks, what's the importance of writing Rinpoche's previous name by Gangchen Rinpoche? It's not, Jacinta is not the importance, it is Gangchen Rinpoche's he's a Mahasiddhala, okay? He followed his own intuition. So that his own view, he probably had a vision at time. His own vision was that Rinpoche is this incarnation, so he wrote, okay? So he wrote the name of Rinpoche's previous life onto his picture. It's interesting, That's his way of recognizing. Okay, it's not the importance, it's that it's a recognition. It's a semi-official recognition. Unfortunately, that is not enough. In the Tibetan tradition, it's not a High Lama recognize you. You need official recognitions need to come from your monastery, your mother monastery. That's why Khenso Rinpoche comes in. In fact, Gangchen Rinpoche told Tsem Rinpoche, go back to your monastery, tell Khenso Rinpoche, I said so, you should be recognized as so and so, okay, as your incarnation. And so he followed his gurus. He felt, no, I don't want, the Lama is very high. So he told his guru, and the guru did his investigations, and that's why he was recognized. All right. And then, where was I? Khenso Rinpoche, yeah. So Setrap Chen, the Dharma protector of Ganden Shatse Monastery, recognized Rinpoche's incarnation status through Choyang Dozin Oracle following a request by His Eminence Khenso Jampa Yeshe Rinpoche. This session has been recorded in writing and bears the official seal of Setrap. It serves as Rinpoche's main recognition paper as issued by his monastery. Rinpoche's personal seal as well has the official backing of Lord Setrap Chen and hence the entire monastery. Why Setrap? Why Setrap? You must understand the official Dharma protector of Ganjen Shatse, the main Dharma protector of Ganjen Shatse Monastery. This is for you, everybody should know this. Ganjen Shatse's Dharma protector is Setrap Chen. Jangse is Pandan Lamo. Combined together, Ganden Lachi, the main Ganden of whole Ganden is Kalarupa. Okay, when they gather together, the whole monastery gather together in Ganden Lachi. Lachi means the main mother monastery of whole of Ganden, both Ganden, Jangse and Shatse. If I'm not mistaken, in the big prayer hall, one side would be Shatse, one side would be Jangse. They will sit together, they do puja. Okay, and then what happened is, then the Dharma protector, when they propitiate, will be Kalarupa. Shatse, they have their own prayer hall. When they propitiate the Dharma protector, it will be Setrap. And then each of their own kamsins, they have own Dharma protector. All right? So why Shatse, why Setrap is because Rinpoche entered Ganden Shatse Monastery, and when he was a monk, he entered Ganden Shatse, he became the monk of Ganden Shatse. So definitely when he's recognized as a Lama, he should be recognized by the Dharma protector of the monastery, the official Dharma protector. All right. So, and usually that time they would have a piece of paper. There would be official letter. This is here. It's written in the Ume script. Tibetan has two types of script different writing It's like the cursive the Tibetan cursive. So cursive. Unlike in English, cursive is usually unofficial, handwriting cursive, right? In the Tibetan tradition, official letters are usually done in this cursive style. So it was done this, and the seal, there's a seal here, there's Setrap seal. All right, so it's very blessed. It is official by the monastery of his incarnation status. And that is that. Next one, there's two more. The final acknowledgement was styled by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama during a special audience requested for this purpose by His Eminence Khenso Jampa Yeshe Rinpoche. The Dalai Lama also identified that Rinpoche's incarnation dates back further back than the official recognition of these lifetimes, matching what His Eminence Drigung Rinpoche had said. Then in 2015, Dorje Shugden, through the famous 7 Panglong oracle, recognized Rinpoche's line of 25 incarnations that dates back to the time of Buddha Shakyamuni. All right, so that is Rinpoche's incarnation in chronological order. And I need to explain one more thing. All right, By tradition, lamas, when they are recognized, they'll be named after usually the monastic institution, the monastery he comes from. So Rinpoche's previous life in monastery was Tsem Monastery. Hence, Rinpoche became Tsem Monastery. Tsem Rinpoche. All right, so you just have to know that lah. So there are different. Some Rinpoches have, are named differently, but traditionally is usually in a monastery. Some Rinpoches are different. For example, Trijang Rinpoche is not a monastery. Trijang is not a monastery because his previous life's monastery is Sampe Ling. So Trijang Rinpoche was in recognition of his throne holdership. He was a Ganden Tripa before. So, and this, as far as I remember, anybody, if I'm wrong, please correct me. There are some lamas. They have names. There are specific names that's unique of the incarnation that they will name after that. Otherwise, like Song Rinpoche was probably his unique name of his incarnation lah. So they use Song Tru. Actually, the full name is Song Tru Rinpoche. All right. So, any questions so far, guys? It's interesting to know, and it's good to know because how Rinpoche was recognized. Later, I will have more stories. I think I'll cover next week lah. And okay, there's one more thing I want to explain now. Let me read out to you Drikung Rinpoche's recognition. It's here in the book. Okay, and I can actually read it. It's in Tibetan, of course, and then down there is in English. There's a translation. It's under his letterhead, Drikung Rinpoche. And by the way, Drikung Rinpoche, he's special. He's a lay lama, he has a wife, and he's quite attained. So he's highly, highly clairvoyant. And his wife, or his consort is not very respectful in the Tibetan tradition to refer to a lama's consort as wife. So I better follow that. It's his consort, he used to say that there's a lot of stories that she's very afraid to go out with him because his clairvoyance is so strong that when he passed by people, he can feel what people has done. So sometimes he will randomly pick up people and he will slap them and he said, "Stop it. You better stop what you're doing now." He will tell things, he will say things to people, warn people, give warnings to strangers on the street, And because his clairvoyance is very, very strong. He just feels it from people. And Drikung Rinpoche gave this recognition, okay? This is in 1989. It says here in 15 July 1989. My glasses, I think I need to change my glasses. I can't really read. My divination checking whether Tenzin Sopa, Rinpoche's ordination name, son of father Losang Gyatso and mother Dewa Ningbo, is the Tulku reincarnation of the abbot of Tsem Monastery. Khenso Gendun Nyintrak Rinpoche revealed a very positive identification. That's his previous life. Yet my divination checking whether his identity is that of the deity protectors and great being Mahasattvas revealed extremely positive identification as well. So he's very skillful, this Drikung Rinpoche. He gave a recognition, he is Khenso, like what Khenso Rinpoche said, Gendun Nyintrak, right? But he's also a deity protector. It says here, identity of a deity protector and great being Mahasattva. Extremely positive. Not just positive, extremely positive as well. What is a Mahasattva? In the book, it says that his incarnation goes way back. Actually, Mahasattvas are referred to high-level bodhisattvas. Because bodhisattva, there's 10 stages. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up to 10. Okay, and high level one meaning the 10th stage, the high level 8, 9, 10 is considered very high already, very, very, very attained bodhisattvas. So Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, Chandrazikla is on the 10th stage. And usually the 10th stage are usually bodhisattvas. There's a term, special term meaning Mahasattva. If you look at the word Maha, great, and Sattva, being, it just means, he's someone great, but actually it refers to high-level bodhisattva. And these beings their work, their impact is very, very huge. It's not just, they did retreats, they gained attainment, they saw the deity. Their work usually has huge impact. And if you're in Kechara and you understand Rinpoche's work for the lineage and how much he impacts, you understand. You understand why this term applies to Rinpoche. All right? I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Anyway, thank you, all these people, Jerry, Cynthia, Ming, David, Heng Yan. Hey, there's Dr. Heng, right? Oh yeah, it's Dr. Heng. Forgot suddenly for a while your name. May Ong, thank you very much for joining. Unfortunately, I'm already moving towards the end. If you have any questions, I welcome any questions now regarding anything, Rinpoche's incarnation, his recognition, what I've explained today. It is interesting that Rinpoche's full incarnation is only revealed the last few years. The 25, Tsem Rinpoche, and part of it, and it's important that his incarnation, I think what happened is, it's important to have his incarnation known because it's important right now to realize who Rinpoche was, actually past tense was, and so that Rinpoche's work can continue and to build on Rinpoche's work currently into the future, because what Rinpoche wants to especially when Rinpoche returns, is his new incarnation. Usually what happens is one lifetime to another, usually it's like this, when a Rinpoche, when a Lama passes away and then it takes rebirth, right? Each incarnation, they have a very unique personality, sometimes completely different from their previous life. Some incarnations can be very saintly, they do a lot of retreats, they bless and they show a lot of miracles and they teach a little bit, but some do a lot of charity work, they're very outgoing. The personality is very different. And the personality depends on the work they wish to accomplish in that life. And also it depends on the students, the samaya and all that. So it's very different. All right? So it's quite interesting. And then how Rinpoche will be like in the future, we don't know. But Rinpoche already indicated to us, our Tsem Rinpoche, he told us that his incarnation when he comes back, as a young boy, I'm not talking as adulthood, he will be very naughty, very cheeky, very naughty. And so he said that he gave a lot of instructions on how to handle his incarnation, how to make sure that he grows up well, grows up to be who he should be as a Lama. All right, thank you very much. Very insightful, David Chu says. You have taken the book to the next level. You're very welcome. And that's my purpose and why I do the reading. Not just read to you, no point like you can read yourself at home. So I need to give you another dimension of what you're reading, to give you an understanding. Sometimes I have anecdotes that may not have gone into the book, or something that I know about, definitions, and just to let you know, so you get the full impact of what is happening in the book, in between the words. All right, let's do dedication, then we will end today. Irene, you got last question. Irene says, why do you think Rinpoche, who is such a high incarnation, came to Malaysia? Because all his students were his previous students from Tibet. After the Cultural Revolution, this is what Rinpoche informed us. Irene, Rinpoche already said that I don't think it's impossible that all of us are Tibetans in our previous life. Rinpoche already said that we all already have, some of us are strongly connected to Dharma, so we connected to Rinpoche to continue on our Dharma journey. Okay, some of us, maybe I know you were probably from Tibet, Irene. I don't know, I doubt I was from Tibet, I don't know. Anyway, we wish we can remember. If you can remember, let us know. Tell us a little bit about Tibet. Irene, I don't remember my previous life. I think most people in Kechara don't remember. It's not so important. More important is this life, to continue our journey and to build this organization. Maybe we'll come back maybe we will not in specifically Malaysia, maybe we're born elsewhere, highly likely to be elsewhere because our karma is like that, So most important is continue what we do and to plant a lot of seeds, merits, collect a lot of merits, gain attainments, or at least strive to gain attainments in this life, since we have this life. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Janju Central Rinpoche, Maki Panagiyushi, Keba Yamami Payang, Gonen Kodu Pawasho, Tony Tonga Rinpoche, Maki Panagiyushi, Keba Yamami Payang, Gonen Kodu Pawasho, Daso Chini Sabagiwadi, Tanandra Gonla Campana, Jebo Josolo, Zondrapai, Dumping Purindo Sa, Sho, Kewa Gundo Yanala Mada, Jemi Choki Palo Long Chochi, Sada Longion Derajoni, Doji Changi Kopang Yutosho, Gewadi, Yudoda, Lama Sangi Jukuni, Juachi Maluba de Salagobasho. 去日本送嘎巴，出生那么白我啦，也给上班去我当，多年马路上说，大当生意都送当，主要是来等你，给我罗上抓把当帮人发就是，你莫带来生带来，你们工人带来钱，也生大都带来票，看着是人有路，看着是我都说，看着是大事说，这是那么苦涩了等钱，那么就给巴当，罗上单边准备上送给，专门是大多呢就是，刚才为高外生咁等，本人带我马路穷人呢，前日子我单身家所以，下辈子的巴都。Den gyuji hong dong beng odu malupa dene dala sado so kwanan temple lo chona geba sushi shukten so. Thank you everybody.